The $370 billion family that can't stay out of jail. The Lees of Samsung. Imagine being the heir to Samsung, the $370 billion global empire, and still ending up in jail more than once. This is the unbelievable true story of South Korea's richest family, the Lees of Samsung, a dynasty where money flows like rivers and charges come just as fast. Meet Lee Jae-yong, better known as JY, Lee, the ultra-composed, sharply suited executive chairman of Samsung, and the heir to a corporate empire so vast, it's practically a shadow government in South Korea. With a personal fortune hovering between $9 and $11 billion and a 2% stake in Samsung Electronics, Lee earns more while you scroll through your notifications than most people do in a lifetime. His life is defined by stealth wealth and silent control. Private jets, bulletproof limos with blackout windows, and homes that double as monuments. His $45 million penthouse on Madison Avenue is just a corner in his global monopoly board, with additional holdings in Seoul and London. But he's not the only Lee cashing in. His sister Lee Boo-jin controls her own $3.7 billion fortune and runs Hotel Shilla, one of Korea's most luxurious hospitality brands. Known for her Bulgari timepieces, multi-million-dollar art collection, and regal presence, she's often referred to as the female CEO with the aura of a queen. From the outside, the Lee family appears like something out of a Forbes fantasy, opulent, powerful, and effortlessly successful. But behind the tinted glass, this dynasty carries a recurring flaw, a habit of showing up in courtrooms just as often as boardrooms. To understand how the Lee family rose to such incredible heights and fell into repeated legal scandals, you have to go back to 1938, when Samsung was nothing more than a tiny trading company in Busan, founded by a young entrepreneur named Lee Byung-chul. He began with the equivalent of $25 and a dream to build something lasting. Through the chaos of the Korean War and Japanese occupation, Byung-chul pivoted relentlessly. From trading and logistics, he moved into textiles, insurance, oil refining, retail, and eventually electronics. By 1969, Samsung had launched Korea's first black and white televisions. From there, the real empire began. By the 1980s, Byung-chul's son, Lee Kun-hee, took over Samsung Electronics and immediately declared war on complacency. He restructured management, imported Western business philosophies, and introduced a radical motto: change everything except your wife and children. Kun-hee emphasized quality over quantity, making Samsung a symbol of global technological excellence. Under his leadership, Samsung launched the Galaxy smartphone, overtook Sony in global TV sales, and survived the 1997 Asian financial crisis stronger than ever. By 1995, Samsung Electronics alone had brought in over $87 billion, becoming a cornerstone of South Korea's GDP. But for all of Kun-hee's success, scandal was never far behind. In 1996, he was convicted of bribing then-President Roh Tae-woo. In 2008, he was convicted again, this time for massive tax evasion and fined over $80 million. Both times, pardon. No jail time. In South Korea, it became a running joke. Being a Lee didn't mean you were above the law. It meant the law politely stepped aside. After Kun-hee suffered a heart attack in 2014, power passed to his son, Jae-yong, and with it, the family's legal curse. In 2017, Jae-yong was arrested in connection with the corruption scandal that brought down President Park Geun-hye. Among the charges, he had funneled nearly $800,000 to buy a show horse for the president's daughter as part of a broader bribery plot to secure support for a controversial merger. He was sentenced, released, resentenced, and then, once again, pardoned. The same cycle, now inherited by the next generation. And it didn't end there. In 2021, Jae-yong was fined for using propofol, a powerful illegal sedative. His lawyers claimed it was for stress relief. And in 2023, yet another bombshell hit: allegations of a $3.9 billion accounting fraud linked to manipulating the stock prices of Samsung subsidiaries to secure Jae-yong's control over the company. Prosecutors pushed for 5 more years in prison. The trial, as of the last update, was ongoing. What's astonishing is that none of these scandals have stopped Samsung's rise. In the third quarter of 2023, Samsung held 19.4% of the global smartphone market, second only to Apple. It's pouring billions into AI, semiconductors, and next-gen electronics. The same man who is toggling between court appearances and prison cells is simultaneously leading product launches, signing trade deals, and defining South Korea's economic future. The Lee family story is more than just wealth and power. It's a case study in dynastic contradiction. A family that built a tech empire bigger than some nations, yet can't go a decade without seeing the inside of a courtroom. They have turned Samsung into a brand you wear, drive, cook with, watch, and live inside. And yet, at the top of it all is a man who seems to live his life with one hand on a smartphone and the other near a jail cell door. Here's a quick question. If you were a part of a $370 billion family with only the job of keeping yourself out of jail, would you succeed?